Hey there, everybody! This is your host from a car website, and we've got another exciting episode of What's Changed for You. We're comparing the 2024 versus 2025 Honda Accord. 2024 was a redesign. So what's new for 25? Well, let's dive into it. And we are back in our home studio today. Behind me, you can see we have a 2024 Accord in blue and a 2025 in white. But don't worry, we'll be doing some split screens so you can see the changes between the two cars. So, before we get started, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any videos. Also, please give this video a thumbs up, because that helps us out a lot. We'll start off with an opening scene, and then we'll break down all the details you need to know. Hey there, buddy. This is your host from a car website, and we've got another exciting episode of What's Changed for You. We're comparing the 2024 versus 2025 Honda Accord. 2024 was a redesign. So what's new for 25? Well, let's dive into it. And we are back in our home studio today. Behind me, you can see we have a 2024 Accord in blue and a 2025 in white. But don't worry, we'll be doing some split screens so you can see the changes between the two cars. So before we get started, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any videos. Also, please give this video a thumbs up because that helps us out a lot. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to kick things off with the trim updates. So the big story here is the X is gone. Okay? That trim level is no longer available in the 2025 model year. And in its place, we have a new Say trim. Now, if we look at the Say and the X side by side here, you can see that the Say is supposed to be a little bit sportier looking. So the X is more grayed out here. You can see it's a lighter color. It's kind of a dark gray. Whereas the Say is a deeper black. The blacked out window trim, the black 17-inch wheels, the black mirrors. There are a few small tweaks here and there, but generally speaking, they look pretty similar. Now, if we look at the Honda page here, you can see that the Say does come with a number of the X features. So, it comes with the heated front seats, the power driver's seat, the Bose audio system, the moonroof, and it also comes with LED interior lighting. Now, in addition to those features, it does add a couple of its own. So it has a different front fascia with a black lower part here. It has those black 17-inch wheels. It has a different rear fascia as well, with a black diffuser insert and dual exhaust finishers. And then it has black mirror caps and black door handles. So that's the general overview of the trim levels. The big thing is the X is gone. We now have an SA, which offers a lot of the same features as the X did. Next, let's talk about standard equipment. Now, when we take a look at the standard equipment, the biggest news here is the addition of rear air conditioning vents and rear USB-C ports on all trims. So, not just the Say, but across the board. All Honda Accord sedans will now come with rear AC vents and rear USB-C ports. Other than that, there aren't a ton of major changes here. Some of the hybrid models get a couple of additional options, but nothing too crazy. For example, the Sport Hybrid and above now come with a heated steering wheel, but that's about it. If we look at the full list here, you can see there are a couple other small items. But for the most part, the big story here is rear AC vents and rear USB-C ports for passengers in the back seat. Moving on to powertrain and performance. This one's pretty straightforward. There are no changes to the powertrain and performance for the 2025 Honda Accord, so it carries over the same 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine from last year. That's going to be paired to a CVT transmission, and that combination will produce 192 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. If we look at the hybrid, that carries over as well. So the 2.0-liter hybrid system will produce 204 horsepower, and it will continue to be front-wheel drive only. So that's the general overview of the powertrain and performance. There are no changes here. It's identical to 2024. Moving on to the next category, let's talk about the interior and exterior experience. And we'll start with the interior first. Now, this is another area where there are a few changes, but they're pretty minor. Overall, the design of the dash is virtually identical. If we take a look at the interior shots here, you can see they look almost exactly the same. They have that horizontal dash with the vents hidden behind that honeycomb mesh. The big difference here is the 2025 model gets some updated software and user interface. So they've improved the responsiveness of the software, so it should be a little bit quicker, a little bit more snappy. And there are some additional features as well. So I already mentioned the rear USB-C ports and the rear AC vents. But we also have the addition of a wireless charging pad on the center console. And again, that's just on the hybrid models. And then the higher trim levels gain a heated steering wheel. But other than that, the general layout of the interior is unchanged. If we look at the rear seat here, everything looks pretty much identical. The rear seat space is the same. The only real difference here is the addition of those rear USB-C ports and rear AC vents, and then the higher trim levels get the heated steering wheel. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. Moving on to exterior, this is another area where there are a few changes, but once again, they're pretty minor. Overall, the silhouette of the car is the same. If we look at the side view, you can see it looks identical. The big changes come in a couple of places. First of all, the Say trim replaces the X styling, and we already talked about that. So the Say trim has a more aggressive, sportier look with the blacked out accents. And then there's also been some slight tweaks to the front and rear. So if we take a closer look at the headlights here, you can see that the 2025 model has a slightly different headlight design. It's a little bit more squared off compared to the 2024, which has a more rounded design. If we take a look at the grills as well, you can see there's been a little bit of a change there. The 2025 has a more rectangular opening for the lower grille. So that's just a few minor changes. Again, the overall silhouette of the car is the same. The windows are the same size. The roofline is the same. Everything is pretty much identical. There are just a couple of small tweaks here and there, mainly with the Say trim replacing the X, and then some minor changes to the front and rear fascias. Next up, let's talk about safety and driver aids. This is another area where there are no changes. So the 2025 Honda Accord carries over the same suite of Honda sensing features as the 2024 model. So that means you're gonna get automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, lane departure warning, road departure mitigation, and then a couple other smaller features. So the big point here is that the 2024 Accord was named a top safety pick plus by the IIHS. We would fully expect the 2025 to earn the same distinction, considering that it has the same suite of Honda sensing features and it has essentially the same vehicle. Alright, so that brings us to the end of our What's Changed episode for the 2025 Honda Accord. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss any videos, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Should you go for a 2024 or 2025 Honda Accord? Do you prefer the traditional look of the X or the more aggressive look of the Say? Let us know in the comments. Alright, so here's a quick recap of everything we talked about in the video. So we have trim updates. The 2024, there were 4 trims. 60X, Sport, XL, and then Touring. In 2025, the X is replaced by the Say. The Say trim offers a number of the X features, including heated front seats, a power driver's seat, a Bose audio system, and a moonroof. But it also adds sleek black window trim, black 17-inch wheels, and more aggressive styling. Next up, we have standard equipment. The big story here is the addition of rear air conditioning vents and rear USB-C ports on all trims. Moving on to powertrain and performance. This is unchanged. The 2025 carries over the same powertrain as the 2024. And then we have the same thing with the interior and exterior experience. The design of the dash and the overall interior layout is unchanged. There are some small tweaks, mainly with the addition of rear USB-C ports and rear AC vents, but nothing major. And then the exterior has a couple of minor changes, mainly with the Say trim replacing the X, and then some small tweaks to the front and rear fascias. Finally, We have safety and driver aids. No changes here. The 2025 carries over the same Honda sensing features as the 2024, and we would fully expect it to be a top safety pick plus, just like the 2024 was. Alright, that's it for this episode of What's Changed. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys stay tuned for more car videos soon. Take care!